Yeah, yesterday we were explaining about that the PowerPoint visible to you, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay. Now, yesterday I was telling you about optical square. Optical square is an instrument wherein we are using it to use set out a perpendicular on a line. So this optical square, it has got two mirror actually. They are uh, the deflection or the angle between the mirror is they are arranged such a way that they are at 45 degree. So this is one mirror and this is other mirror. This mirror is polished at the bottom and transparent at the top. So you got a line. So whenever you have another point, the image of it you will be able to see that from here. This is the eye position actually. Now what happens is there is another ray from P, it just get incident on that and then it get reflected and it get reflected on the mirror B. So in the field of view, you will get two ranging rod actually. So ranging rod, the image of the ranging rod over here and the image of the ranging rod over here. Something like your line ranger, if it comes online, like suppose it's in the field of view, where is it? So you will get in the field of view two ranging rod, the top and the bottom, it will be visible to you. In that case, you say that it become a perpendicular. So what is the proof for it? This is 45 degree. So when you construct a normal, let this angle be alpha. So if you go by the law of reflection, somebody mute your mic. Mute your mic. So this angle is alpha, then you will have alpha over here, right? So this is your angle is 2 alpha over here. So this is 180 minus 2 alpha. So this angle should be divided by 2. It is 90 minus alpha, like, okay. So this is your this one angle is 90 minus alpha. So here all the three angle making 180. So here you will have 45 plus alpha. So when you solve for it, right, you will get this angle as 90 degree. So this is the proof that. So what normally you do is you hold a optical square on your Brigadier, I'm in a class. Can I call you a little later, 1 hour after? So this is the concept of optical square. So you have got you can from this point you can transfer it to the ground. How will you transfer it on the ground? Suppose I'm holding it on a hand. How will you transfer it to the ground? Any idea?
Plumb bob, sir.
Suppose there is no provision for plumb bob. How will you do that? So happen that you carry a optical square to the field, but you forget to take out a plumb bob. How will you do that?
So maybe tying a stone to the tape and letting
Wonderful,
it
wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Hold it on a hand. On the bottom of it, and you keep a stone of it, and then just drop it down where the stone drops. Okay, on that point you mark it. That is the point will be perpendicular rather. Okay, so these are some of the things where you have to solve it by yourself in the field. So this is the survey symbols. Is that visible to you, all of you? We are able to see the. Sir, shall I expand it?
No, sir. Please expand it.
I will expand it so that so this is so in the map how we mark it, because this is what is called your survey line. Normally when recording your observation, what we do is start with this. This is the point A, this is the start of a straight line. So draw a parallel line like so 10.5 meter and 4.5 meter perpendicular to it, you have got another point at this point. 11.2 meter, 2.8 meter, you have got another point. And 15.7, 4.7 meter, you have got a point. And you can measure this. All these things, you have got a coordinate system rather. Okay. So this is the way you record it. Suppose you come across a fence, this is the way you represent a fence. And if it is a hedge, you are representing this. If it is an embankment, cutting, bridge, all these things you have got what is called a survey symbol actually. So symbol is available. So you have got a stream, you have got it this way, this is your building, this is your masonry, and if it is a tree, you mark it like this. If it is a forest area, you mark it like this. If it is a marshy area, you mark it like this. It's a concrete, this is the way. And if it is a railway, single track, this is the way you mark it. If it is a double track, this mark it. If it's a road, and if it is a car track, if it is a footpath, and all these things, the masonry, concrete, and if it is a contour, what is a contour by? What is a contour? What is called a contour?
The boundary of all those identical points.
The boundary, it is a line joining point of equal elevation. The same elevation is the line joining points of equal elevation. Do you understand that? So suppose you see that this is, I'll show you. So you see that these are all the contour like. So when you got a highest, suppose this is 100 contour, 90, 85, and what does it represent? It represents a ditch or a pond. You understand that? A ditch or a pond. Suppose inside of it is 100, this is 90, this is 85, this is 80. What does it mean? The outermost contour is the lowest level and innermost contour is the highest level. So what happens?
High altitude mountain or something.
Pardon?
Mountain or something.
Yeah, it's a hillock. Will a contour intersect?
No, sir, it should not.
It's not. Is it not? It will not intersect. Am I right? Normally, okay, normally contour will not intersect. Okay, see what is it a contour? You just look. Suppose you, what is the landmark of Tiruchirappalli? Landmark of Tiruchirappalli, a famous landmark.
Srirangam temple.
Not Srirangam.
Rockfort.
Yes, the Rockfort is the landmark, you know, the prominent landmark. Suppose you look up, suppose you are traveling by, you are well above the Rockfort, or you are above that, the bird's eye view of it. You observe the Rockfort. You understand that? You observe the Rockfort. And you are you are viewing from the top how it looks like. Okay, suppose you mark a boundary of it. So of the same elevation, the ground level, you just mark it. This forms the outer contour, and then the top of it. Sometimes what will happen, if it is a overhanging cliff you are marking, sometimes what will happen, then the overhanging cliff, in the case of a overhanging cliff, CLIFFF, cliff, you will have an intersection of the contour. Okay, the contours are likely to intersect if you have got a overhanging cliff. Do you understand that? So it is a contour. Like now we come back. So that's where you have what you call a this contour of this. You got a contours. Okay, right. This is the way we do it. Okay, we got to the next one. Okay, we have seen that. So we have seen the correction to measurement. Suppose a tape is long or short. Yesterday we worked out a problem also. Suppose I say that the tape is or the chain is one link longer at the end of the day measurement. Suppose I have measured 1000 meters. Then what is the true length of the line? Is that not true length of the line? Then we were talking about what is called a mile. Mile is, how much is a mile in terms of kilometer? How much kilometer is the 1 mile? 1.609 kilometer is 1 mile. Okay, then we have got a concept called nautical mile. The arc of a circle subtended at the center of the earth with substance 1 degree separation. Sorry, 1 minute separation is what is called a 1 nautical mile. That is the concept which has been used in the aviation as well as the ocean travel rather. So, now correction for absolute length we make it. So what is it? L dash by L into L dash, where L is the true length of the line, L dash is the actual length, and L is the designated length of the line, sorry, designated length of the tape, and L dash is the measured length. So for absolute measurement we use it. Now what happened? So then we go on to this part of it, we have covered it. If it is an aerial measurement, it is 1 plus 2e into A dash. If it is a volume measurement, it is 1 plus 3e into V dash, where V dash is the measured volume, V is the true volume, like. Okay. So here I have to say that in surveying we may not get a perfect geometrical figure. Even if you look at a piece of land, it will be in a most irregular shape of it. So we have to find out what is the area of it. How that we are going to find it out, it is our job. We will be learning in due course of time. Rather, now you see that error in shape or in chain, what is called a pull correction. What is called a pull correction. Okay. Now what will happen? Suppose I have a metal piece. Okay, I have a metal piece. I just, what I do is I apply a pull this way and that way. What will happen? What will happen? Suppose I am pulling out a metal strip. What will happen?
It will expand.
It
Expansion will take.
Try to
Expand.
No, it's not called expansion. It is called elongation. It is called a elongation. Suppose you are pulling it out, what will happen? It's called elongation, is it not? I'll come back. Suppose I have a metal strip like this and just pulling it. What will happen? This is a length L. Suppose I fix this part, I fold it, I'm just pull this. What will happen? It gets elongated. Very good. It got elongated. Is it not? Right. Now, suppose the length is L, length of that is L, and elongated length is delta L. Delta L by L, what do you call?
Strain, sir.
Delta L by L.
Percentage
what do
error,
you
sir.
call? Huh?
Percentage error. Fraction of error.
No.
Strain. Sir, strain.
Somebody said correct one. What is it?
Strain. Strain, sir.
It is called a strain. Okay, it is called a strain. It's called a strain. Now, suppose there is a force which has been applied, which is pulling your body. It's pulling your body. The force divided by the cross-sectional area. The force divided by the cross-sectional area. What is it called?
Stress.
Force divided by the cross-sectional area perpendicular to the application of the force.
Stress.
Stress. Okay, wonderful. Stress by strain is what is it we call?
Young's modulus.
Young's modulus.
What is Young's modulus now? Because you are doing your mechanics of solids, you would have learned it. You are very well aware of it, you people. What is Young's modulus?
So it is the property of material, sir, where for a given amount of strain, it exhibits Young's modulus into the amount of stress.
Oh, do you explain that way? It is called, what is the other name for Young's modulus?
Modulus of elasticity, rigidity modulus.
Not rigidity. Somebody earlier you said something, no?
Modulus of elasticity.
Modulus of what is elasticity?
Sir, it's the tendency to return back to the initial stage of a material. When force is applied, there is some stress generation, and due to that stress, some strain is also there. But after the removal of that force, stress disappears and the material returns back to its initial state. And this property is called elasticity.
So this is what is called the elastic range. Elastic range. Suppose I have a rubber string, I pull it out, what will happen? It expand. Beyond a point, what will happen? It breaks. Is it not? It breaks. Same thing, every material has got what is called the elastic limit. You have got what is called the elastic limit. So, the Young's modulus is postulated that way within an elastic limit. Within an elastic limit, the stress is proportional to the strain actually. Okay, stress by strain is what is called the Young's modulus. It is been designated as E. It has been designated as E. So P is the designated pull. So when I use, suppose I say that the tape is 20 meter in length. Suppose if I apply a pull of, when I apply a pull of, say about 8 kg. 8 kg is 8.8 into 9.8 or 80, roughly around 8 into 9.8, 10. If you take it, 79.2 or something Newton, because we are measuring in terms of not in terms of kg. The force is in Newton, like so. Newton per meter square. What is it called?
Stress.
Yes, right. What is the unit like?
Pascal.
Pascal. Newton per meter square is Pascal. Okay. So if you look at E, the value will be given as 2.1 kg per 2.1 into 10 power 6 kg per centimeter square for a steel material. Suppose if it is made up of a steel, it is 2.1 into 10 power of 6 kg per centimeter square. So we understand that so much of Young's modulus is very high. Okay, if it is high, it has got a more elastic limit. Suppose beyond elastic limit, what will happen? Beyond elastic limit, slowly, if it is a mild shield, it will go to a point what is called a yield point. It start yielding, then it will go to the ultimate point, and then it will go to the breaking point. So it will break actually. So beyond elastic, we consider it as what is called a plastic rather, because when you cross the elastic limit, okay, the material will not come to its original position even after relaxation of what is called your load or pull. Okay, so if you stretch it beyond the limit, sometime what will happen? It will shear off rather. So these are some of the jargon which you should understand. Already mechanics of solid, somebody is taking classes for you. Solid mechanics. You have a mechanics
Yes,
of solid?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Who is taking class?
Grieger George, sir.
Grieger. Okay, very good. Okay. They are all very recently passed out. They have done a PhD on the structural engineering. So they will be in a position to explain better than me whatever I say. So why I want to find out what is the expansion of it. Stress by strain is what is called your Young's modulus. Stress by Young's modulus is what is equal to strain, is it not? Stress by Young's modulus is equal to strain. You get it? Stress by strain is equal to E. Stress by E is equal to strain. Strain is equal to delta L by L. So L transposed to the other side, elongation delta L is equal to force into length divided by area into Young's modulus. That is how it has been derived. So P minus P naught. P naught is the designated pull. So the tape is 30 meter or 20 meter in length. When you are using a designated pull may be 10 kg or 15 kg, but as it's been manufactured, the marking remain as the marking between the point when you are using a designated pull. You are using a pull more than that, what will happen? Then it try to expand along with it, the markings also get elongated. So you will be measuring more. So it is P minus P naught into length of the tape divided by area of cross section of the tape. Area of cross section of the tape. Okay. Into Young's modulus E. So PL by AE. So we got P minus P naught by L into A into E. Is that okay? This is what is called a pull correction. This is what is called a pull correction. One minute. Hello, sir. Solomon, sir. Good evening, sir. Solomon, sir. அப்படியா நீங்க எங்க இருக்கீங்க? நீங்க வந்துட்டு இருக்கீங்க. நான் ஒரு half an hour ஆகும் கிளாஸ்ல இருக்கேன். முடிச்சுட்டு வரட்டுமா? ஒரு 4 o'clock நான் என்ட்ரிக்கு வந்துடுறேன். எனக்கு வந்தவனுக்கு சரி, ஓகே, ரைட், ஓகே சார், ஃபைன் ஃபைன். நான் 4 o'clock கொஞ்சம் கூப்பிட்டு. ஓகே ஓகே. Now, so first one is correction for absolute length. Second is the correction for chain or tape for pull correction. Then you have got a correction to temperature. So as the temperature increases, what will happen? because the metals are involved, every metal has got what is called a coefficient of linear expansion alpha. Okay, so it tried to expand. So when you define a meter, we say that the marking on a platinum rod kept at 0 degree centigrade from where we took a reference, right? So a tape is said to have its designated length at the designated temperature. So the T naught is the temperature, designated temperature. So what will happen when you got there is an increase in the temperature? So it expand. Okay, it expand, and because of it you will have a, suppose the temperature T naught is 20 degree and T is 0 degree. What will happen? So the tape will contract. So the term within the bracket T minus T naught is positive, correction is positive. T minus T naught is negative, correction is negative. Do you get the point? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Here, boy. Okay. So correction to temperature is L into alpha into T minus T naught. So this is what is called a temperature correction. See, when I'm taking up a triangulation survey, I will not repeat this. I'll tell you, because there also correction to the tape measurement will come. There I will not repeat it. Learn it ourselves. This is now you see that two support, and this is a piece of a steel wire which has been tied between two support. What will happen? When you want to dry your wet cloth, what you do? You put you tie a piece of wire between 2 points. Okay, and you make it very tight. After some time, what happens? This the piece of wire what you have tied between 2 points or suspend between 2 points. Okay, it takes a form of this. It sacks down. Okay, it sacks down. Right? Why it sacks down? Why
Due
it
to self-weight. Due to self-weight and lack of tension.
Yeah. So here it has got its own weight actually. It has got its own weight. Okay. And what is the force governing this? Every point of it. Here, what is the force here? What is the force over here? Because in solid mechanics, we are talking about equilibrium. There are 3 equilibriums. That is the sum of the algebraic sum of the forces. Vertical force is equal to 0. Algebraic sum of horizontal force is equal to 0. Algebraic sum of the moment is equal to 0. The entire civil engineering rests on these 3 concepts only. Okay, sigma V is equal to 0, sigma H is equal to 0, and sigma M is equal to 0. So in the case of a suspended a suspended string, wherever you take a moment, it cannot resist a moment. When you take a moment about any point on this, it is equal to 0, and there is no horizontal force over here. and there is no vertical load is there, but vertical load is acting along the line, along the string, okay. Suppose you find out what is the total weight of the string and you project it along the horizontal length. This is the horizontal length between these 2 points. This is the length along the cable, okay, along the cable. So what will happen? You will be, because of it, it's called a sag. This is the concept of what is called a suspension bridge. Have you heard of a suspension bridge? Have you heard of a suspension bridge? Anybody, have you heard of a Howrah bridge? Howrah bridge?
Yes, sir.
Howrah bridge. What type of a bridge it is that? Howrah bridge?
Cantilever.
Huh?
Cantilever.
Wonderful. It is a cantilever bridge, 2 cantilever butting together. That is a cantilever bridge. Where do you find a suspension bridge?
Sir, in New York, there is a bridge, sir.
Why? In our country, we don't have a suspension bridge. In the Himalayas, you can find it in Haridwar and the places where you have Lakshman Jula. It is a suspension bridge. Okay.
Sir,
there you can find out a suspension bridge. Okay. But this suspension bridge, because the subjected to overturning, this will not go very detail into it. But what is that I try to impress upon is what is the shape of this curve actually? Anybody?
Parabolic.
Parabolic. It is not parabola.
It's hyperbolic, sir. Hyperbolic?
No. It's something called the C. Start with the C. Catenary. Catenary. Okay. So this shape is called catenary. Okay. Right. Now we come to this. So this is the. So you are exerting a pull here, and there is something called a sag H. So when the forces are resolved along this, and there is a weight acting on it. So on that we can find out what the increase in the length because of the pull. Okay, increase in the length because of the pull and because of the sag. When it sag, what happen? When it sag, what happen? You will be measuring more. Always a sag correction will be a negative correction. Always it's a sag correction will be a negative correction. Where L1 is the length of the tape between 2 points. L1 is the length of the tape between 2 points. So here this is length of it has been marked as D1. Don't worry, this is L1. Suppose the point, these 2 points A and B, the tape is suspended. This is the length of the tape L1. P is the pull applied. So this is you got a pull. You are pulling the tape. Okay. P is the pull applied. Right. And W, I think I made a mistake. It should be small w. Right. W is the weight per unit length. For per meter length of the tape, suppose you take that, what is the weight of the tape? W is the weight per unit length. Sag correction, the CS sag correction is given by W into L1 whole square by 24 P square. What is the P here? What is the P here? What is P? P. What is the P here? What is the P here? What is this P? This is the pull. This is the pull. The tension, what is that we are giving? How much you are pulling out? So this is the pull. P is the pull applied. So where W into L1 is the whole weight of the tip. W into L1 is the whole weight. What is that you should remember is shock correction CS equal to L1 into W into L1 square divided by 24 P square. In the course of it, you will be learning what is called the bending moment diagram and the shear force diagram. So you will be dealing more with that, but I just don't want to go into it. But this is the concept of it. What is called a shock correction? Based on this, we find out what is called a shock correction for shock. Is it okay? So what is that we have learned today? We have learned pull correction, correction for temperature, and shock correction. Shock correction is a negative. Then we have got what is called a pull for normal tension. What is called a pull for normal tension is that you apply a pull in the field such a way that the pull correction is equal to shock correction. There is, you need not do any correction for pull and you need not do any correction for shock. Such a pull is called pull for normal correction. So we say that a pull for normal tension is the pull that is applied in the field such that pull correction is equal to the shock correction. So pull Pn, so you have to solve it by trial and error only. So it is P suffix n is the pull for normal tension is equal to 0.204 into W1 square root of W1 is the weight of the tape leg, right? Square root of A into E divided by square root of Pn minus P naught, where P naught is the designated pull of the tape. P naught is the designated pull of the tape. Pn is the pull for normal tension. Okay. Then,
the root is for complete denominator is for P1,
yeah, complete A into E. Root is for Pn minus P naught. Because I have used the symbol somehow. Okay. Root of Pn minus P naught. It is not root Pn minus P naught. It's for complete. Or I will do one thing. Square root of is it okay now? Similarly, is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
No. So whatever the term A into E. So even for clarity, I will do one thing. So I will for product I will use a star instead of suppose I put initially I used X. What happened? It become AX. So I don't want that. So I will put it star. Okay, product is A into E. Is that okay? Right. Now this is for vertical alignment. Okay, so I have 2 points A and B. It is sloping down. Okay, 2 points A and B, it's sloping down. What is the length? What normally we report in surveying is a length L, the projection of B at B1. Okay, so this is the horizontal length. So your trace of B on B1. So trace of B on this B1. AB1 is the length of the line. But normally what you do is when you measure it along AB, you will be measuring L. Okay. So elevation difference BB1 is H. So we'll come to this. L is the true length and CB is the correction for vertical alignment. So distance AB is equal to L. Okay. So what is CV? CV is a correction. So L minus, it's the same application of Pythagoras theorem, no? Okay. Oh, L square minus H square. So L square minus H square, root of that is your this thing. So you just get it, this point. Root of L minus root of L square minus H square. So if you expand it, L square minus H square, what I can do is L square 1 minus H square by L square to the power minus 1 like. So binomial expansion of 1 plus x to the power n, it is equal to 1 plus nx plus n into n minus 1 into x square by factorial 2 plus n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 by factorial 3 into x cube, like that. Okay. The same thing, but we remove something, the higher order, h power 4 by 8 L power 4. Finally, what you get is the correction to vertical alignment h square by 2L, which is subtractive. Okay, so what is that you have learned today is we started for correction for absolute length, correction for absolute length, correction for pull, correction for temperature, correction for sag, and correction for slope. Okay, correction for slope, correction for horizontal alignment. So we just have a horizontal alignment. Normally you are supposed to. So what is the shortest distance between 2 points? Shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Sometimes what will happen? You will be out of alignment by this. You are supposed to have your chain line like this, but you measure this way. There is a horizontal shift. So this is a plan view, and here it is a elevation view. Okay. All of you have learned drawing, engineering graphics, first angle projection, third angle projection, everything. Nobody answer. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we are studied, sir.
So this is a plan view. This is a plan view. So here this is departed by what is called a D. So what is that? I have to find out a correction. So L square minus small L square equal to D square. So hypotenuse L square, okay, minus L square is equal to D square. You get the point? I think it has come other way about.
So it should be small L
Yeah,
square
it
minus
be other small L and other way. It has come other way. Okay, right? Doesn't matter. So what I do is L plus L, because A square minus B square. This L plus L I show small approximate. I take it as 2L. 2L into L minus L is approximately equal to D square. So L minus L equal to 2 D square by L. So correction is D square by 2L. The same formula, but this other way about. Marked it. The capital L should come here and the small L should come here. I have made a mistake, but you correct it yourself. But this is the horizontal alignment. Normally, all our corrections are, all our values are reported at a mean sea level. What is the mean sea level? Mean sea level is the one which has been measured at mean sea level. Every country has got its own mean sea level. Okay. So you are measuring at a different altitude. You have to make a correction for mean sea level. What is the mean sea level correction? Theta is equal to, theta is measured in radians. D is equal to r theta. So this is the arc of D, subtended angle of theta at the center. theta is measured in radian, r theta equal to d, r plus h is equal to L. R plus h theta is equal to L. Okay. So this we find out this theta is equal to d by r or L by r plus h. So d is equal to L into r divided by r plus h. So we just do that and then find out what is correction L minus d. L minus d is equal to LH by r. Always it is subtractive, because anything measured above mean sea level is subtractive, anything measured below mean sea level is additive. So you have to see that the correction is LH by R. Okay. So these are the correction normally we apply to any measurement. We apply to any measurement. Okay. Now today what I do is I've uploaded one assignment, the first assignment onto the same team. One uploaded file is there. You try to download it and then take out it. So one yesterday I gave you a how will you go about proceed in overcoming an obstacle which obscure your vision as well. You are putting out a chain. Second, there is a small problem which I have given. Try to solve the problem, and I have given my mail ID also. You give your answer to your mail ID by a PDF file. Okay, 12 noon is the 12 noon of 7th is the last date for submission. Any questions here? With that, we close the chapter on chain surveying. From tomorrow onwards, we will take up what is called a the angular measurement. Okay, I'll take up angular measurement. Okay.
Sir, can you explain that assignment question, sir, once again?